standing with ya. Just standing with ya. I know those times been rough, them trying days will come. You need a place to hide, someone to you can run. He'll never forsake his own, you standing right there. But we find a place to hide, we choose to live in fear. But the devil's a lie, cause fam, I know a place where you can get some rest and all of your sins erased. Restore back to the Father, here part of the Adam's case. Jericho
Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Yeshua Judah. This is a Truth Be Told Flex podcast extra. Got a few topics I want to talk about. All of these topics is from last week. I actually recorded this last week, but the internet was giving me issues, which seemed like it's giving me issues now. I don't even know if this will be but I also want to make a few announcements. We will be changing our nights from Thursday night 7:30 Central Time to Wednesday night 7:30 Central Time, starting on the 26th of April. That'll be our first broadcast on that night. If you got a smart TV like a Roku or something like that, go ahead and download Messiah TV. That's where we're going to be broadcasting live at. We'll also be still broadcasting live on YouTube as well, and we'll be broadcasting live on Facebook as well. If you have been missing the Truth Be Told Flex podcast, you have been missing some really great information. We got some more information that's going to be coming down the pipe. Last week we was talking about the collapsing of the banks, and we also learned, we have a segment that's called Beyond Critical Race Theory, and the one that Ayo Ben Yahu brought out last week, it was exceptional. I'm 50 years old, and that was my first time ever hearing about the Devil's Punch Bowl. So if you are interested in knowing what the Devil's Punch Bowl when it comes to our people, go check out the Truth Be Told Flex podcast, the very last episode, and go check out the Beyond Critical Race Theory. We are going to get into these stories because I don't want to take too much time here. It's not going to take me long at all to talk about these. I'm going to be real quick and real brief. And I would like to know what you guys think about, know your opinion on these opinionated stories that I am about to bring out. The first one is LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Gabrielle Union latest targets for political commentator Candace Owens. Now, anybody that know me know that I really do rocks with Candace Owens on a lot of topics, man. She's not one of my favorite people in the world. No, I'm not going to say that. But Candace Owens makes a lot of great valid points. This time, though, Candace Owens, you missed the target. You're going to take a L for this. What was going on this particular day that made you say that, hey, I'm going to come at these individuals for this particular reason? Now, nobody on this list is anybody that I am particularly, a favorite of. The one that I probably like the most is LeBron James. The one that I probably like the least is a toss-up between Dwayne Wade and his wife Gabrielle Union. But right is right, wrong and wrong, and I believe that Candace overstepped her boundaries this time. And let's get into the article, and let's see what she has to say. Conservative pundit Candace Owens says LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Gabrielle Union should live in black neighborhoods. That's an opinion. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Gabrielle Union are all outspoken for their political beliefs. As a result, they are often confronted by those with opposing views. Recently, conservative pundit Candace Owens took them to task on an episode of her podcast. James, Wade, and Union are all advocates of black communities, so Owens called them out for not living in among their people, considering every time a black person gets any money, they don't choose to live in black neighborhoods, even though they can certainly afford to, said Owens, who is also black. Looking at you, LeBron James, looking at you, black activists, patrice, colliers, looking at you, Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. Owens later went on after James individually, She made the comments despite James being one of the biggest donators to the black community among celebrities. None of these people are living in black neighborhoods, Owens said. They're living in a white neighborhood far away from the drama they love to comment on. Why didn't LeBron James take his many millions and build a giant home in the middle of the south side of Chicago? Now, it's facts that LeBron James put his money where his mouth is when it comes to donate money to the black community. He is one of the very few that I know of that actually put money within the cities of the black communities here in America. Not necessarily sure, like I say, what gave her the idea that this would be a great topic on her show, seeing that she's married to a white guy. You know, I've often had a problem with individuals who speak and talk about black issues when our people wasn't good enough for you to marry. And that seems to be the case with Candace Owens. You have a lot to say when it comes about black people, Candace. We can go back through your catalog and you will be all up in uproar about the black community this and the black population this, and you know the blacks need to not be fooled by the media when your people weren't even good enough for you to marry. And you can make the case about, you know, and I've heard people say, well, you got to look at the circle that these individuals frequent the most. Well, that's a problem too then. You coming down on these people because they're not living in a black neighborhood. And to be perfectly honest with you, I never considered, I have it, and maybe I'm wrong, but I never considered either one of them to be black, activists for the black people. Never have I considered either one of them to do that. Now, do they talk about black issues? Of course they do. All three of them are black. But at least they married to somebody that looked like them. Now, Gabrielle and Dwayne Wade, they off on some old crazy stuff right now, right? Now, we can have a conversation about them. Child abuse conversation, I believe, is warranted when it comes to them, right? Sacrificing their child, I think, is warranted when it comes to them. Advocating for the homosexuals and their agenda, I think, is warranted when it comes to talking about them. But they're not living in a black neighborhood when you not only just married a white guy, you married, maybe, in my opinion, probably the whitest of the whites. This is who you go to bed to at night, Candace. How do that conversation go on at night when you talking about what the white man is doing to the black people? Or do you not talk about that? I'm not real sure about where your zip code is. You also can afford to live in a hood. Why don't you and your white husband go move into, the hood of whatever city that y'all living in? Since you are that mind state, since you are of that mind state that they needs to live, that they need to live amongst their people, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, Candace. I really believe that you out of order on that one, Candace. You got an L on that one. Not rocking with you on that one whatsoever. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think Candace Owens stepped out of bounds on this particular topic? Seeing that she's married to a white guy, like, how are we supposed to trust what you have to say or how you feel when your own people weren't good enough for you to marry, Candace? Moving on. Mike Irvin is discussing the Marriott case. He's no Emmett Till. This was written by a guy by the name of Mike Freeman, and I had to go Google Mike Freeman as a columnist. I said, Mike Freeman, that's a black name, but this had to be a white guy because there's no way a black guy would have an article such as this. Michael Irvin is up against right now. He's up against the Marriott chain. His job has, took him off the assignment of the Super Bowl. He was not able to cover the Pro Bowl, and he's out here fighting on his own, trying to defend his name and his character. So Michael Irvin needs a history lesson. He may actually need many things, but a history lesson should be the first on the list. Something he said recently shows him to be a fool, he says. Not just an everyday fool, but one who doesn't even understand the true nature of his own history, Black history. Irvin was accused of being by a woman employee inside the Marriott Hotel lobby during Super Bowl week. He denied the accusations, sued the hotel chain for $100 million. The case has become law because who symbolizes the boisterous television media environment today, and also because the nature of the accusations against him were ugly and sordid. At a news conference last week, Irvin said something so staggeringly dense, it's difficult to believe any human being would be so ignorant of the past. Irvin said the accusations against him were similar to when black men were falsely accused of assault by white women and subsequently lynched. This takes me back to a time, this is Michael Irvin talking here. This takes me back to a time where a white woman would accuse a black woman, above the law, to a rope around his foot, through mud, and hang him by a tree. Irvin. In 2023, we still lagging and hanging brothers by a tree. Mike Freeman goes on, I want to break the news to Mike Irvin. He's named it Till. I don't know if the accusations against Irvin are accurate or not. If he's telling the truth, he's still not a victim of lynching. If he's lying, he's still not a victim. What's even more interesting is Irvin was accused of improper behavior by a woman. He seemed to left out the fact that it was a white woman that accused Michael Irvin. That's a big part of why Michael Irvin feels the way that he feels, Mike Freeman. And it blows my mind that you can't understand where this brother is coming from. Where have you been? I'm quite sure that your zip code is not in a black neighborhood as well. And the way that you wrote this article, you're probably married to a white. Yes, Michael Irvin is a victim of lynching. That's exactly what it is. And I understand exactly where he was coming from. And I understand exactly why he feels the way that he feels. Michael Irvin, a black man, comes into a hotel met immediately by a white woman. The video shows that they had a cordial conversation. And if Michael Irvin said what he is accused of saying, it clearly did not bother this white woman. But then the next day, Michael Irvin, because of the accusations of the white woman, he gets a phone call his employer and tell him to pack his bags, you're off of the assignment. If I understand why, what did I do? Well, you have been accused of inappropriate behavior. Well, with who and what at what time? I just got here. I don't even remember holding a conversation. Don't worry about that. Just pack your bags. Meantime, Marriott said you're not allowed any of their hotels anymore. All of this came down because of what? The accusations of a white woman. Mike Freeman, I'm not understanding what world you live in, brother. Are you saying because he was not physically drugged through the mud, he can't compare 2023 to 1953? Are you saying that because he was not physically killed, that he cannot compare 2023 to 1953? Never did he say he was an Emmett Till. He made an analogy for all of the black disenfranchisements and wrongly accusations that we have ever had in this country. And he said it blows my mind that we're still dragging black through the mud and hanging them on trees because of the words of a white woman. Mike Freeman, you also take a L for this article, brother. I don't know if your white counterparts came to you and talked about this in a break room that you had to appease them writing this type of an article. I don't know if your wife, which I'm quite sure talked to you at night and you felt like that you had to appease because of this type of article. But brother, lynching is still alive in America. And with Michael right now, he is being drugged through the mud. And he is being lynched. NFL Network don't have his back. They're not trying to help him. ESPN is helping drag through the mud. They're not standing up on them. And and this is the thing that me when it comes to athletes. How quiet you guys get when you see your brothers go through stuff like this here. Where are y'all at? Where's the character witnesses at? Now, I'm not saying that Mike did not say what he is accused of saying, but what I'm saying is that if he said it and you go look at the video, it did not bother her, not one bit. There was only one person in the clip of that video that seemed to have a problem with Michael Irvin talking to that white woman. And that was either her boyfriend or her boss, or he could have been both. But he was the only one that was visibly upset with this white woman talking to Michael Irvin. So Mike Freeman, you get an L for that one, homeboy. That's an article you should have saved trees on and not printed it. Let's get to this last story, Russell Wilson. Let me make it known that this is not a bashing Russell Wilson segment here. Neither am I bashing Sierra. I'm not bashing either one of them. I understand that they live in a whole nother world, totally different than the world that we live in. And with that being said, they do things differently than how we do things. I honestly believe that Russell Wilson, for all that I can see, he seems like he's a pretty upright guy. And Sierra, I don't have anything, ill to say about her as well. But there is a problem with our society that this type of dress in public is okay. When you think about all the things that they sensitize, all the things that they shut down, all the things that you cannot say, like you can't even say the word retarded anymore, which when I was a kid, it was a medical term, but you can't say that anymore, right? There are certain things that you can't say when you do videos because it goes against guidelines. But this is okay in society's time. We need to get back to the days of old when men respected women and women respected themselves. And they honored their husbands. This is no honor. And I don't know what type of event that they was in. My wife was trying to get me to understand that they was at an event and this is what the type of event that it was. But I was like, okay, well, that's cool. Well, Russell should have been like, you know what, babe? I think we're going to just stay in tonight and we're going to bypass this, right? What's wrong with that? And she like, well, why is that, Russ? And he was like, I saw that dress that you got, and it's a very beautiful dress, but I feel like that you should only wear that dress for me because I'm not into letting everybody see my goodies. That belong to me. See, a son would get struck down in the Torah for uncovering the nakedness of his father's wife. But we live in a time now where the husband say it's okay if you uncover your nakedness in front of everybody and let everybody see it. This is a family, folks. And again, I'm not bashing neither one of them. I'm not coming on here calling her a whore, but she's dressing like one. We can agree on that. I'm not coming on here saying that Russell Simmons has an S back, even though it may seem like he does. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that they live in a whole different world, and the people whom the Bible called the wicked, they need individuals like Russell Wilson and Sierra. They need individuals like them to get their agenda pushed about. And what these people are not understanding is that they are going to pay for the wrong that they are doing in Israel. Torah also says that there should be no whores among the daughters of Israel. Neither should there be sodomites. Well, you got a whole family with Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade done sacrificed their son to Moloch, and he walking around here calling himself a girl. They're going to pay for that. And here you got Russell Wilson with a beautiful wife. But you allowing her to show all that she has to the world. And you would be ready to fight if somebody did call her a whore, but yet you allow her to walk out of the house dressed as though she's whorish. Look at the comments. Whatever somebody has to say about this picture, you cannot say that they're wrong, Russell and Sierra. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. They can say all that they want in front of the camera that they're fine with this, but they're not. People have feelings and they read comments. They read what is printed. And I'm not a believer that everything that these celebrities do, they choose to do it on their own. There is somebody who is telling them, yo, this is what you need to wear. This is what you need to say. This is how you need to act. And because they are in debt to whomever that somebody is, this is what they wear, this is what they say, and this is how they act. So please leave in the comments your thoughts. Tell me. Is Candace Owens, was she out of line for what she said? Michael Irvin, does he have a right to feel like he has been being lynched off of the words of a white woman? Mike Freeman, was he wrong for that article? And as far as Russell Wilson and Sierra, do you think that we need to get back to the days of old, where right was right and wrong was wrong, and there was no gray line in between? This is Sierra Shoot Judah. Please catch us on Thursdays nights. Truth Be Told Flex podcast, where it'll be myself and yo being Yahoo, and also Occupy Your Shell. And with that being said, I'd like to say shalom and peace.